Griff Hamlin here from Blues Guitar Unleashed. Welcome, thanks for joining me. In today's video, I want to show you one of my favoritist tricks for getting from a major blues sound, which remember we tend to use over the one chord. You don't have to, but it's a great sound to use, to a minor blues sound. And I'm going to do this using one pattern that you may or may not already know, but it's very simple, and one pattern that you may not be as familiar with. So I'm doing a blues in G here. So you'll notice I've got my first finger right here on this G. This is the 8th fret on the 2nd string. And I use a pattern I commonly call the house pattern. Now, if you are strict on your pentatonic boxes, this I guess would be close to pentatonic box 4. And you could certainly switch to that. But the house pattern is just that 8, 10, 8, 10, and then the 9 on the 3rd string. Okay, and so, as I've often said, that's no particular scale. It's not major, it's not minor. If I bend that 10th fret on the 2nd string up a full step, I get a major sound. If I bend it up only a half step, I get a minor sound. Now, of course, if you know anything about this pattern, you're like, Griff, yeah, you just bend differently to get between one sound and the other. Yes, you can. I could just bend for my major sound and for my minor sound. It's just a little subtle thing right there. And you can hear the difference. It's very clear, it's very audible. But what I also notice is that pentatonic box 3 is also right here. And there's a couple of things. If I know my pentatonic box 3 is there, I might be inclined, first of all, to get the blue note. Right? I get the 3 notes up on the top string there is kind of fun. Or hammering on a little tweedly, only to that blue note and coming back. That's something that I would not think to do in the house pattern, right? It's something that comes to mind when I sort of change how I look at it, right? If I change my point of view, I talk about this a lot, changing your point of view. I'm not really changing a ton of notes, but I'm very much changing my point of view. And when I do that, I'm also inclined to get the flatted 7 instead of the 6. Now, of course, I can sort of mix and match those together a little bit, and truth be told, the more comfortable that you get switching back and forth between those two sounds, the more you will tend to merge them together. A little more at will, I will say. It might be hard to imagine this now, but when I play, I actually think in terms of, like, here's the root, there's the 6, there's the 2, there's the 4, there's the 5, there's the flat 3rd. When I switch over to box 3, I've got my flat 3rd, and that flat 5 is the blue note. There's the flat 7. So I'm very much aware whether I'm hitting that flatted 7 or that 6. But you can see that even without chords going on behind me, 1, 2, 3. You could probably hear that I switched over to box 3 and the 4 chord. It almost perfectly outlines that 4 chord. It actually does a really good job. That's where the 4 chord would be. That's where the C7 would be. And so I'm actually kind of just playing the chord. So it really, really outlines very, very well. And again, it's that mental shift, right? You'll have certain licks that you'll learn if you go through, for example, my house pattern course. You'll learn certain licks from the house pattern, and they'll have certain unique notes and certain, little things about them that give them that unique sound. Whereas, like, let's say you go through Blues Guitar Unleashed or, 50 Shuffle Blues Licks by the Box, and you learn box 3 licks, and they're going to have their sound, and they're going to have their unique little things, like the blue note, for example. And those subtle changes, of course, you can, add from one to the other, and you can transfer those nuances back and forth. But that's going to take a lot of time. And the way you get there is by changing your point of view as you're playing, and you tend to see different things. Every time you change your point of view on the guitar, you're going to see different options in front of you. Sometimes none at all. I won't lie. Sometimes you change your point of view and realize, I got nothing here, right? So you might, if you don't know any box 3 licks, you very well might go, okay, well, I'm looking at box 3, but I got nothing. And when that happens, now you know, time to go learn some box 3 licks. But at least it tells you that's the next step on your musical journey, right? So that's a good thing. When you know where you're weak and the things that you need to learn next, that's a good place to be, because it's easy to go seek that out. So anyway, play around with this. Try it out for yourself. See how it works for you. I think you're going to dig it. I love the sound. It's something that I use all the time. Of course, I use it over like B.B. King style shuffles and slow blues, but even straight feel, even kind of rock stuff. It's a great little switcheroo, like I said, in the brain that just gives me, it feels like a whole different palette, just with a chord change without having to move all over the place. I just really like that particular little mind shift. So I hope it works well for you too. And as always, if you have guitar playing friends that would dig this video, please share it with them. I'm Griff Hamlin from Blues Guitar Unleashed, and I will talk to you soon. Take care.